Now shift our attention to the other big story that we are tracking on WION, where the United States has blamed Iran squarely for the second round of attacks that have taken place in the two oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Now, the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that the United States has assessed, and it has apparently in its assessment found that it is Iran that is behind the attacks that took place yesterday. He said that Iran had promised to interrupt the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz and is now working towards it.
It is the assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today. This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with such a high degree of sophistication.
In fact, the United States has released a video to back its claims. Washington believes that the video, in fact, shows Iran's military removing an unexploded limpet mine from the side of one of the oil tankers. And this, of course, is the video that they have put out in terms of backing their claims. Now, a government source has also told Reuters that Britain has agreed with the U.S. assertion. Saudi Arabia has also agreed with the United States that Iran is most likely to have been behind the attacks. Now, it is claimed that Iran has a history of doing this. A Saudi minister has said that there is absolutely no reason to disagree with Pompeo. Remember, Iran and Saudi Arabia are traditional allies, and at this point of time, it is the United States that's in fact pulled out of the 2015 Iranian nuclear agreement. Now, after a closed United Nations Security Council meeting on the tanker attacks, acting U.S. ambassador has said that Iran should meet the United States with diplomacy and not with terror and attacks on ships. Now, Iran's United Nations mission has dismissed this statement as inflammatory. The United States has asked the UNSC to confront the threat that has been posed by Iran. Meanwhile, Tehran has rejected US's unfounded claims and has also condemned it in the strongest possible terms. Now, Iran's UN mission has said that the US sanctions and its military build-up in the Gulf are the most significant threat to peace and security in the region. It has also called for an urgent dialogue amongst all countries in the Persian Gulf. Now, Iran's foreign minister has also hit out at the US on Twitter. He has said that the US accusations against Iran are essentially a part of what can only be described as sabotage diplomacy by the US National Security Advisor John Bolton's team. He's tweeted, and I quote him here, that the United States immediately jumps to make these allegations against Iran without a shred of factual or circumstantial evidence only makes it abundantly clear that the B team is moving to a plan B. That is sabotage diplomacy, including by Shinzo Abe. Remember, the attacks have taken place, interestingly, at a time when Shinzo Abe was in Iran and holding talks with the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. The two oil tankers were attacked in the wee hours of Thursday, roughly at about 8 o'clock in the morning. They were left adrift in the Gulf of Oman. There were about 44 crew members on both of these oil tankers who were rescued by the Iranian Navy. Now, the attack was first flagged off by the United Kingdom's maritime trade operations. The United Kingdom's maritime operations have advised extreme caution for the vessels that sail through this very narrow Strait of Hormuz that you see, through which 20% of all the world's oil supply passes. Now, this especially during heightened tensions between the United States and Iran. There are also some unconfirmed reports that suspect that this could either be an attack via a torpedo or it could be a limpet mine attack. Now, one of the oil tankers which came under attack was a Norwegian vessel called Front Altair. 3 explosions, in fact, took place on the board, and these are the visuals of the oil tanker that suffered an attack. It's being said that it was shot at via a torpedo. It was reportedly carrying about 75,000 tons of naphtha and is suspected to have been hit by a torpedo. The other tanker was a Japanese-owned ship called Kokuwa Courageous. It was carrying methanol, and 44 members of the crew who were there on board these two ships were rescued by the Iranian Navy. Now, the incident comes just a month after 4 oil tankers had been attacked off the coast of Fujairah in the United Arab Emirates. The United States, of course, blamed Iran even that time, but Tehran has denied the accusations. Tensions have been on the rise in the region after the United States pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal and has imposed stringent sanctions on Iran.